than this shit show. Alrighty, it is the next day and it is no cooler than it was yesterday. In fact, it's probably worse, to be honest. It's pretty hot here. But I've gone down to the shops and picked up some new spark plugs. One for when we're going to be hitting boost and one for now because there's not many cleans left in these ones anymore, unfortunately, and it's going to start throwing the tune off. I thought I'd quickly jump back on and do a quick update of what I'm doing, and then I'll film myself doing it and why I'm doing it. So, hopefully we can see it. The lighting should be okay. So I was pointing out last night, it was a bit hard because it was dark. This here was bolted onto this, which is on your throttle body. Now what this is this affects, see there's a little diaphragm in there, but it's controlled by coolant, which first of all you can see is probably not even working because that's so gummed up with crap. Like that's full of mud, the whole thing. So it's probably not even working. But it makes it very temperamental with revs, etc. and idles. So what we're going to do is we're taking this off and I'm going to use this as a template. Put a plate straight at the bottom of that. There's a coolant line that goes from there to your idle air control valve back here, and your idle air control valve line goes back to just next to this one. So we're just going to loop this back on itself and take them all out so the coolant goes back into the car. This will be blocked off, use a little bit of silicone just so it doesn't get any air leaks in it, and that's it. So we'll make a plate for this one now, put that on, and that should fix the problem. I was getting a little bit of info of what this thing actually does, so I can tell you. Okay, so I'm not going to put my finger in front of it because it's losing focus, but this one here, that's where your water goes in, and there's a valve in here that gets based off hot and cold water. So how it affects your idle, etc., and it can affect a bit of your revs, there's a hot wax pellet valve. When it reads cold water, you need more air so you can idle more, so you can keep your car alive. So it's got cold water in it, and the hotter the water gets, closes the valve off, closes the air because you don't need it. That's not even getting water through it, let alone when they fail, they cause idle issues, revving issues, etc. So in this situation, we're not going to need it because I can tune idle accordingly. We're just going to make a plate out of a bit of just metal and just silicone it on there. So it'll block everything off and we won't have to deal with air fluctuation through this because we can just choose the air that we want. So we'll do that now and we'll move on with it. I've only got a bit of angle, so I'm just going to get the angle and bend it out. That's all I've got. So wear your safety glasses, kids. Now that I've grinded this piece, it's extremely hot, which is good and bad. It's good because it's going to be easier to hammer it the way I want it. It's bad because I can't bloody touch the thing. It's not easy to hammer angle, but this is the only metal I've got here and I don't want to go to the shops, so. Now we have flat, no longer angle. That's the way you want it. And then I'll trim it up accordingly. You put this down. I'm going to draw an outline. I'm going to draw 4 dots of where I want the holes. Well, I'm not going to draw the hole, I'm going to drill the hole through it. And then I can trim it up and pretty it if I want to around that, so we'll see what I can come up with. The dodgiest looking shit ever. I'm going to just quickly line it up, make sure it works, and then I'm going to pretty it up a little bit. I'm just going to like round the edges. I don't care if you can see it, and obviously I know it's not completely straight because it was an edge, but I'm just going to fill the dog with silicone and tighten it right down. It'll be right anyway, so just needs a block and that's going to do its job perfectly fine. If you want to do it, M10 bolts, M6 bolts, 10mm head obviously. There's 3 of them on there, but you're going to need shorter ones because they have to go through that actual component, and now there's no component there, so just get like, I don't know, 10mm long ones or something like that, and bang it in, a bit of silicone. Alright, so now that you've got your plate, I've test fitted it off camera and I've rounded it off so it's a bit nicer. Just fill all this crap with silicone, all of it. And then you're going to want to pop it on and tighten it down and let it set as well. I mean, it's not going to get wet or anything. Just make sure that there's no coolant left there. But I'm going to use a bunch of this, although I've used it before, so you can put a screw in it and that it doesn't stop it from drying up. But I'm going to put a bunch of this on, smear it all around, add a bit more, and then just bang the fucker on, and when it's set, we will be back, and hopefully this thing doesn't jump idle anymore, which will be nice. Alright, plate is in, and silicone seems to be dry enough, so we're going to fire it up. I haven't put the new plugs in yet, so it's probably going to run a little bit rough still, but we're going to see if this idle thing is now fixed, because if it is, we'll be able to check the AFRs through the rev range, and if we can get them a bit better, then we can take it on a drive and see how we go. So hopefully this works out pretty good here. Well, that's not good. I will be back on the drawing board for that one. God damn, something's going wrong. Give me a second, let me see what's going on. Okay, pretty much I was doing a little bit of digging into why it was just stalling out straight away. And I don't know why it went through my head all of a sudden. I was like, well, that thing that we've removed allowed air in when it was cold to idle. So it's probably not getting enough air. So I took the intercooler pipe off. If I turn it on and hold the throttle open, it runs. But the throttle's completely closed shut, so it's not getting enough air and starving itself. So if I turn it on, give it a little bit of throttle, it actually runs. So I'm going to just set the throttle adjustment just a little bit further on so it idles, but I can prove that it will run right now. If we give it a little bit of throttle straight off the bat, look at that. Still running way too rich, and then it chokes out and dies. But it does sound like it's still doing that rev hunt, which is not ideal, but it is what it is, I guess. If I can't fix that, then that could be anything to do with the IACV plug not being plugged in that we're going to bypass for now. So I might just have to power on without it and see if it drives okay. See if it's just like a standstill, it will idle hunt. Oh, rev hunt, I guess. It's not even idling, I'm trying to rev it. So put the intercooler piping back on. So now we'll see if it idles, and if it does, we'll try and go through the rev range. I reckon it's still going to rev hunt, but now we're going to adjust tune accordingly. So pump to prime, and we are back. We're finally getting somewhere. It holds 3, it holds 3.5, holds 4. Don't know why it doesn't hold 2. I don't really care now. Oh, that's so good. It's running rich across the board, but that's alright. Oh, that's so promising. Now, car, don't fuck me over from now till then. Come on, I've fixed so many things over the past couple of days. It's gonna be okay. So I'm gonna probably lean out the tune a bit more, see what I can get at an idle, and then we'll probably end up taking it for a squirt, I guess. Okay, I can't remember what the last update was. I think I managed to get this car to run happily and rev up a bit. I am so excited right now. I am about to move it over a bit. I'm going to raise it because I love the look of the thing, but going to all this effort getting this car on the road and mod plated this and that, the last thing I want is to be pulled over because it's too low. So I will be raising it for now because it needs to be. It's just a little bit too low. I'm about to put the bumper back on. Like, I am so happy right now. This car's been off the road for so long and it's been on the back burner for too long, but it's running a bit rich. That's okay. We'll see how it drives. I'll tune accordingly, see how it drives, tune accordingly. Once I get it pretty happy in the NA, like vacuum range, we'll start hitting the boost tune. I think it's going to be running too rich, but too rich is better than too lean, I guess. Just not too rich, you know, but we're going to throw some new plugs in it when I move it over and see what we end up with. I'm so excited. While I'm under here, I was trying to find a oil leak, which the sump bolt was a bit loose, and the there's a major rattle coming from the exhaust, and I thought the exhaust was loose. But I've actually destroyed my cat housing. So from scraping everywhere, like in and out of this place, I've actually like destroyed. I'll just show you. And it's rattling, so I'm gonna have to like weld it on or something. That's why I've had to raise my car as well, because like because now the car's on 15s, it was on 16s. That's a bit more of a problem, and that's why I'm just going to raise it. I don't want to get pulled over and that, so that's what's rattling. So the exhaust isn't loose, which is good. I just don't know what to do about that yet, but I'm probably going to have to like come up with like a weld or something, I don't know. I'll figure it out anyway. But now we are pretty much all tweaked and dialed in, and it is time to almost hit the road, so. Alright, so on the bonnet I've got this like gold tape stuff. I don't know, apparently it can withstand up to like 500 degrees, up to 500 degrees Celsius, this stuff, so yeah, I doubt that, but I don't know. We're just going to bang on the bottom of the bonnet, clean up with a bit of metho, and put on as much as I can, I guess. I don't really know what to do with this stuff, but it seems pretty self-explanatory, so definitely not the prettiest job I've ever done, at all. In fact, I'll be taking a bottle of water with me in case this falls off and lands and catches fire. Although it is quite sticky. I mean, it's not the best. Shit is not easy to use at all. But I mean, I don't think it's going to do anything. But hey, something's better than nothing. Unless it catches fire, then nothing was better than something. But alrighty, it is time to take the Civ for a drive. We're running a little bit rich. I thought this was going to be the case. No boost this time around. Just see how she goes through the rev range and that. See how it drives. Yeah, I'm going to be voice recording a lot of things so I can keep note of what I need to change and what cells, etc. throughout the vacuum and what fuel we're reading at. So I'm a little scared, but we'll let it get up to temp and we'll take it for a squirt. Tune needs major tweaking, but yeah, it hates sitting at low, like barely any throttle and less than 3,000 revs. It's still doing that rev hunt, which I was hoping would go away driving, but it's making it really difficult to drive slow, like around corners and that. But bit lean. She's driving, which is good. I need a better cam setup because this is not the best cam setup I've got, but it'll do for this video, I guess. So we're gonna keep at it. This will pretty much be the end of in-car because there's no point. This is a horrible cam setup. I need like a GoPro on my chin instead of strapped up with this, but yeah, we're just gonna keep driving this and see how she drives. All right, it's getting pretty late now. I've just gotten back from first drive. Oh, my car's back. It's pretty rough. The AFRs are all over the place. I've done a bit of voice recording, trying to get through all the different ranges and that, and yeah, I should be able to tweak it up pretty good and hopefully land a boost, but it did touch positive pressure and was running way too rich, so I'm just going to lean out the boost table straight off the bat in case it hits it again, because too rich is too bad. But it does drive. I need to fix the rev hunt issue because that is really hard to drive. You pretty much can't drive under 3,000 revs pretty much, or just all over the place, but other than that, the car is back and I'm excited. Sorry about the road noise. I am out the front with the car at the moment, so there's a lot of cars going past, but pretty much she's running good. Been 2 weeks of tweaking, tuning, adjusting. It's running rich across the board still, but I prefer that. I will lean it out slowly as I daily drive it, but been driving it every day over the past 2 weeks. Hasn't missed a beat. It's been driving great. I've just serviced it, put some new oil in it, and I put some plugs in it. The oil was pretty fuely from when we first got it running really rich, and the plug's pretty fouled up. So I banged some new plugs in it. I've banged some oil in it, some good stuff. Yeah, you'll see a couple of clips of me driving it around town, hitting boost, etc. There's lots of exhaust rattles because I bottomed out 3 times now and broke the exhaust off every time. Tried fixing it, it's not working, so it is what it is. I fixed the rev hunt issue. My idle air control valve that I was going to rewire, etc, etc, it was just in the wrong plug. So make sure you put your plugs in the right hole because it fixed everything. So that's sorted. But she has been driving absolutely great and I'm stoked. So stoked this thing's back. So now get it driving, keep working at it, then it'll be paint time, I'd say, because the paint is pretty bad. So it's definitely going to be paint time pretty soon for it. I'm actually going to be learning some paint stuff on the CIVIC, which I'll be filming while I'm doing the rear-wheel drive swap. Yeah, it's going to be good. So I'm stoked to have this car back. I've missed it. I love this car. It's driving great. I haven't had any issues with the clutch slipping, etc. yet. It's driving pretty good. It comes on boost a bit late, about 4,500 it'll start hitting full boost, about 10 psi. But yeah, it's been good. So I'll put these clips up and that will probably be the end of the video. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. So it's been about 2 weeks or so now since I first put it on the road. Just been tweaking the tune in the meantime. I've got it running pretty smoothly now. It does run still a bit rich across the board, but not as bad. So I've done a service and everything like that. We haven't had any clutch slipping yet. She's driving really nice, and just a couple finicky things to dial in, but other than that, it's going pretty good.